Recording started. Data upload in progress. It's the Not Your Average Guys podcast. Welcome to all of our listener, watcher, viewer, whatever. Hey, Rory.
Hey, Rory.
What?
I don't even
We
think
need a
Rory
vote
listens
on-
anymore.
Oh, man.
I
went to-
know, but it's
Haven't in a
nice
while.
to think that somebody
Well,
does.
he went to college and forgot about us.
Yeah,
Probably met a girl.
that's okay.
Probably. That's what happens.
Oh, well. Well, it's been 2 weeks since we were on here because last week Jimmy and I were busy Tuesday night, and we just didn't jump on. So, but I wouldn't say it's been a super eventful 2 weeks. Last week was a bummer of a week, in one respect here at my house. It was a bad week to be a cat at my house. I buried 2 cats on Saturday. So that was a lot of digging, some hard ground, and I picked a spot with a lot of roots. So I dug a hole. I broke my axe while I was chopping roots out. So not only did I bury 2 cats, but now I've got to go find my spare axe handle and rehandle my axe. But I'm pretty sure I've got one down the shed. That was a good axe too. That's my axe that sits out there by the front porch. I like driving in my driveway and seeing an axe sticking
Just
in the
hanging
sun.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, if somebody needs in your house, you provide them with an axe to get
Yes.
in with?
Why not?
Yeah. So that's strategic. I mean, if we're talking
If they're
like
armed
any
with an
type
axe
of
and they get shot,
yeah, if we're talking any type of like oh, what's the legal term? It has to do with castle doctrine and all that.
just cause kind of thing.
No,
Is it illegal
there's
if they're
another
using
term.
your axe?
Equal force. Equal force. The axe is a lot bigger than a 110 grain 9mm bullet,
Yeah.
and it's scary. Like it just looks scary on pictures in court.
Way scarier than
A bullet.
way scarier than a 9mm.
Yeah, which is scarier, this or an axe. I wonder if you can have this on YouTube.
I don't know.
I think so.
We're gonna find out. If I hold a finger gun up and you hold a 9mm bullet, will we get the boot off of?
Oh, I don't know.
YouTube?
Can you do that?
Oh
I
boy.
think you can.
I think you get fined for doing that kind of stuff.
We'll take all of our revenue away.
They're gonna demonetize us.
Yeah.
They're gonna demonetize us for
It's
this.
like a $15,000 fine.
Speaking of demonetized, did you guys know that Judah, opposite of demonetized, he didn't get monetized, but he had a banger of a post on YouTube Shorts. He had over 100,000 follows, or 100,000 views on one, and he got 300 subscribers.
Nice.
What was the video?
I don't think. It's just another airsoft gun video, just something that he like. I think with shorts, one of the big things is that you pick a sound that is rolling, that's already on a roll.
Yeah.
And you put your video to it because it's a short video, and it gets picked up, and then they figure out an audience that likes it, and they just start feeding it to that audience in their feed. And between the music and the fact that they find an audience, they kind of like it both hits at the same time. And then a bunch of people come and start watching his other videos too. So that helps with the adding subscribers.
Nice.
That's cool.
So he's beating
That's
us
pretty
all,
fun.
boys. He's beating us all.
Yeah.
He's definitely beaten me because I think I have maybe 1 or 2 subscribers.
Yeah,
That's the two of us.
keep telling you.
Unless
Yeah.
Dan hasn't subscribed yet.
Yeah, I'm not certain Dan has.
Oh no, I subscribed. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
your video of the fish tank
The one
from
video.
1982.
Yeah, pretty much.
Before the internet was invented, you put a video on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't gone viral.
It hasn't?
No.
Weird.
Yeah, I need to make some videos.
Part of the issue is that Jimmy Walters is a musician or something. Oh no,
Oh,
Jamie
yeah?
Walters is a musician. Hold on. 2.1 million views 14 years ago.
I don't know that guy. My parents wanted to
Jamie
name me
Walters.
Jamie.
Oh yeah?
Really?
Why didn't they?
Yeah. The story I heard was something to do with my mom's cousin was having a child around the same time as my mom was going to have me, and they named their kid Jamie, their daughter Jamie, and they didn't want
Oh.
me and my cousin to have the same name, and me
So
be
they
a
named
boy
you
and
Jimmy?
her be a girl. Yeah.
Looking at Jamie Walters, he's actually a quasi well-known singer. I say well-known in that he has an album and he's been on some talk shows. Not like, dude, is there really going to be, by the way, a Fight Club 2 coming out?
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's
Fight Club
interesting.
2? I'm going to have
Yeah.
to look that up.
Apparently. Edward Norton, I mean, I'm assuming that you wouldn't make a Fight Club without Edward Norton and Brad Pitt, but maybe you would. I don't know.
Who would you use if it weren't those two dudes?
I don't think that I would watch it if it wasn't those two. If it's not going to be those two dudes, I ain't watching it.
That makes sense.
What if it was their kids?
I don't know what their kids look like, so I wouldn't know.
Fight Club 2.
Maybe. Did it show you? Did it?
Fight Club 2 trailer.
Is it an AI thing or just?
2025. YouTube has trailers.
It's not made up, huh?
Well,
That looks like a whole bunch of random clips from other movies, to be honest with you. Who knows?
Maybe
somebody's
here, you want to watch
trying to
the
make
trailer?
something happen. Can we do that? I mean, I guess it's already on YouTube. Maybe. Try it. Let's see it.
Okay, here we go.
Let's do a reaction video to the trailer for Fight Club 2.
Fight Club.
Oh, yeah.
Fight Club 2. Wait, where'd that go?
You ever wonder if that's what we should do? We should just do like a podcast of reactions to other things. That would
That's
make
what
us
we
more
should do.
popular.
All right, here we go. Fight Club 2 trailer.
Have you ever stopped and looked at how your life turned out?
Lost at sea.
Like, what actually you done with it?
This is just
I like him.
messy.
I mean, we're told we can be anything, right? But no. In reality, life is a struggle. Nobody told us that struggle starts within us. Yet we found a way out of this. Fight Club gave us hope. This club is more than anything, you know.
It's a cruel
Brothers, we are gathered here today for more than just
It's cool.
we gathered to remind ourselves who we are. It is time to stop dreaming. Did you hear me? I said, it is time to wake up.
It's cool.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know
There it
about
is.
that. That
I
was
say
weird.
no.
I don't know either.
I say that is just a compilation of other clips from other Brad Pitt and Edward Norton movies, and not a trailer for a real movie called Fight Club 2. What do you think?
I don't know their movies well enough, I guess, to know whether that was a bunch of stuff jammed together or not.
Some of it was,
I didn't
for sure.
see any clips
Clips from other movies.
from movies that I recognize.
There's a movie, I don't know what the movie is, but there's a movie that Brad Pitt is in where he fights a guy that's maybe resembles Bruce Lee in the movie. Do you know what that movie is?
Snatch?
And one scene, no, it's newer than that.
Oh.
More recent than Snatch. One of those clips was 100% from this movie that I'm thinking of. Where, yeah, I could go back and find it, but I don't think that those were definitely not modern Edward Norton clips either. Like, he's actually kind of old now. He doesn't look young anymore. He looks older than me. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
So what's your are you going with firewood first off as the starting convo for the 12 and a half minutes in?
Yeah.
So starting with the question, who's actually heated their house with firewood? Or lived in a house that was heated with firewood?
Not me.
Dan has.
I have. I've lived in 4 houses that were heated with firewood.
4?
Like the primary heat source.
Primary heat source, firewood. Yeah. Grew up
3 as a youth and 1 that was yours.
One that was mine, 3 as a kid. And the one that was mine was done not because there wasn't another heat source, but because the other heat source was so expensive to run electric backup for a heat pump that it made no sense to spend $400 a month on electric bill to not have your house warm. Like, it wasn't good, because what it is whenever you have a electric backup for a heat pump, no gas backup, you basically have the equivalent of, if you've ever looked in a blow dryer and you see those electric coils that heat up and the air blows across them, and that's how you dry your hair. Those are in a pipe. They heat up just like a blow dryer, and they blow air. That's the electric backup for a heat pump.
Very inefficient.
Oh man. And it dries everything out just like just exactly like a blow dryer does. Like, the heat isn't, it's almost like it's not. Firewood heat radiates out from the fireplace or the stove and puts the heat in the objects in the room. Whoa, that was magic, Jimmy.
What did I do?
You just disappeared. Like one
I
frame to
was
the next, you disappeared.
I was getting my. This is where my house is
That's
right
your
now.
temperature?
So the low was 63 and the high was 68. 35% humidity.
Nice.
64
And you're already
currently.
at 64 now. But then I built a house and insulated the junk out of it, and we fill our propane tank one time per year for the whole year, and it seems unnecessary to heat with wood for the amount of effort that it takes, because I think it cost me $1,400 for the entire year to fill up my propane tank this year.
And you use all
So
of it
like,
in 1 year?
that's for heating. That's for our stove, for our water heat, and for our house heat. Yeah.
I have natural gas, not propane, so I don't know how that averages out. I haven't lived here long enough to know.
You have natural gas in the country?
Yeah.
Huh.
I know.
That's interesting.
hmm
How close is your closest house to you?
Not very far. I mean, I can see like 2 houses out my front yard.
Mm-hmm.
The closest one is
They each have about the
probably,
same acres as you have?
yeah, every house in this neighborhood has, or not neighborhood, whatever you want to call it, this area has at least 3 acres.
Hmm. Is that in your background your heat source if you do firewood?
So I have that, and it has a blower on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's
Yep.
also one downstairs that has, I don't even know what it is exactly, but it has these pipes that from underneath and then wrap around and then come out the top. And so you build the fire in the
Okay.
middle of these pipes and turn a blower on that circulates through those pipes and then out into the house. Just right below this one.
Yeah. So what's your how much do you plan to heat with it, with the
I don't
firewood?
know. Like, I don't know because it's all new to me. I don't know how, I'm not going to be here, most days during the
Yeah.
day, so I won't be able to maintain the heat. So, but for sure in the evenings and mornings, I'd like to kick some heat going.
Yeah. So if you started a fire every evening when you got home in both fireplaces, you could probably heat the place up pretty good
Yeah,
and then just let it go out and not do it till the next day, the same time of day or
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much wood that would eat up.
A lot.
Yeah.
Not just doing one fire a day. Maybe you think of more than a cord a month?
I don't know.
Darcy?
I needed to start burning wood. I guess that would depend on what kind of wood you're burning too.
Somewhat. And it's also going to depend on if you just like run a roaring blaze or if you get it going and then you baffle it down pretty good to where it just kind of smolders and runs for hours.
Well, this one
Are they
here
both
has
sealed units like that one?
no. The one in the basement is open. This one has a lot
Oh,
of
it's open.
baffles and adjustments and things that I don't know. Looks like you could dial it in pretty good if you were trying.
Do you know if that one has a catalyst in it?
I don't. What does that do?
So so you have multiple different styles of stoves. One is just you've got an open fireplace, you light a fire, almost all the heat goes up through the pipe. Like I'd say 80+% of the heat in an open fireplace, modern open fireplace, goes up the pipe. And then you have a catalyst, and if you picture your firebox, your air is your fire is here and your pipe is going out the top. With a catalyst, your gases, you divert them through basically a catalytic converter, and the materials inside of that catalytic converter heat up super hot, and it actually burns the smoke as it goes through that device. So instead of smoke going up and out the pipe where almost all your fuel is going up without even burning, that catalytic converter heats up like this, either ceramic or some kind of material that creates it's almost like those hand warmers that have the filament material around the fuel source, and it just like burns the microscopic fuel that's in the smoke. And then the other thing you have is you have them that are built to where there's an air chamber that recirculates. So the heat goes up and then it like forces the smoke back down into the fire again, and it lets the fire reburn the smoke again over and over. Does that make sense?
I don't know what this one has.
And
I know it has an electric blower on it and intakes all over it.
well, and the electric blower is outside of the firebox. The firebox is a
Right.
sealed unit. The electric blowers are just blowing air across the outside surfaces so that
And
you're
back
not
into the
pulling,
room.
yeah, so you're not pulling smoke in. So basically you can tell if your catalytic converter in a stove or whatever it's called is working. If you get your fire going good and you go and look at the chimney, if there's really no smoke coming out, but your fire's going good, then you have some kind of system in there that's reburning the smoke. And it's just gases going out to the top. And you'll burn a lot less wood with a system like that.
I don't know. I don't even know if this thing works.
But the other thing I'll tell you is I've cut enough firewood to know that cutting firewood ain't cheap either.
Sure.
Buying firewood and cutting firewood, they're the same price. You just pay in different ways.
Right.
What if you get your friends to help you?
Oh, well, sure. Yeah. You get your friends to help you, then you get a discount on your firewood. But
And you've got
like if there was
log splitters and stuff.
You go up somewhere, like you go down where our brother-in-law lives and people are selling firewood for $50 a cord for cured firewood.
That's pretty cheap.
Freaking buy that stuff by the truckload. Bring it up here, sell it for $175 a cord, cured.
Up here, it's about $190 for half a cord.
Half a cord for real?
Well, I think that's what it is right now.
Up your way.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think I saw 250
But I will tell you this
for one
also.
cord on Facebook.
So, okay. You take a good chainsaw and you go out and cut firewood. You can probably by yourself cut and haul and restack 2 cords in a day on a Saturday, I would say, if you have a good source of logs, wood that you can cut up and not have to go through a whole bunch of brush and everything to get to. If you're willing to burn hedge, which this brings up a like life story of mine. There's a lot of people that think that hedge will just melt your stove into a like puddle of molten metal. Like they will
Right.
swear to you that you cannot burn hedge. Hedge does have the most BTUs per pound. So every pound of hedge that you throw in your truck, you're getting more BTUs out of than any other wood. Hedge will burn wet. Like you can go cut hedge down, chop it up, split it, and burn it that same season if you need to. Not a great idea, but you can do it. We did it all the time when I was a kid. But every time you open the door with hedge on your fireplace, you're gonna have 1,000 sparks just
Mhm.
light off like a sprinkler, like a what do you call those?
Sparkler.
Sparkler. I mean, it's just like, and so you will light yourself and everyone you know on fire accidentally if you're not
And your
careful.
carpet will have nice little hard, crusty spots all over it.
That'd be nice.
But dude, I'm not lying. I am like, I'm almost like, because of my childhood and the affinity that I have for hedge, I'm almost like, I don't know. I love this stuff. Like I love hedge trees. I love throwing a hedge log on the fire and letting it spark. My handles that I built for my bow, like I did laminate handles for my bow. I laminated those out of hedge. It's real pretty wood. If you can find a piece of it that's straight, it's beautiful wood to make stuff out of. But it is as hard as wood gets.
Right.
But man, hedge is like, I don't know. You got anything like that from your childhood that's just like nobody else likes it, but Darcy likes Astro Vans? No, I'm
Aerostars.
joking.
Arrow stars.
Aerostars.
Man, I cut down a big old hedge tree today.
Yeah.
You
That
burn it?
sucker was probably, I don't know, it was probably 24 inches, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Big dog. You want to burn it?
Maybe.
Dude, you should take it. You should take it and cure it and burn it. It'll spark less if you pile it
What
up
about
between now and then use it next year.
what about maple?
It'll
Burn it.
burn. Mm-hmm.
Well, I know it'll burn.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll burn your first season if you just cut it down. And it's also a misnomer. People think that if you just cut a tree down, it'll dry. It won't dry. You've got to cut it up and split it for it to cure.
Yeah.
It'll take so long for that stuff to dry out. And even if you cut it up in logs, it's still going to take forever to dry out if you don't split it. But
I've got two
one
maple
year,
trees right
we
outside
were
the
so
house that need to
cold.
come down.
I mean, you could get them to burn this year. You just have to add something else that was like
Put some hedge in there
more
first and then
catalyst
throw
for
some
it.
maple on top of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I forget what we burned one year. We went out. It was dead of winter and we ran out of firewood. We went out and cut something up that I think that's part of why my shoulder, like splitting wood, that's the other thing. Hand splitting wood, you're like, oh, I'm getting strong. No, you're just wearing your joints out. Is what you're doing. You're not getting stronger. You're not getting
Right.
better. That's hard. Like that is freaking hard on you.
Yeah.
So the other thing is like cutting trees down isn't exactly safe. We've got, dude, do you have that video, Darcy?
Which video?
Dude, one of the first phone videos we ever shot, you and I cut down this tree.
Yeah.
That was like
let me think here.
freaking, it was
It was
this
massive.
like, It was enormous.
Let me
And
think if
it
I can
had
find that
died.
video.
Jeremy's texting me.
We cut this sucker down
Oh man,
from Alaska.
Yes.
nice.
Ah, that's cool.
Yep. It's beautiful.
I'm gonna see if I can find. How would I find that video? Let me see. Yeah, that was a good one. That thing was massive, and also it was when it fell. It wasn't as awesome as I had hoped it was going to be. Do you recall
Yeah,
that
that's
the same?
true. Mm-hmm. Well, so what we found out as we started cutting in it was that it was, even though it was like, I mean, I would guess it was like going around it. What is that? That's not the circumference. That's the, or what's
Around it,
around
the
it?
diameter?
The diameter. I don't think I would be exaggerating to say that it was 16 to 20 feet around.
It was big.
There was no way you and I were going to go, and even if there was 3 people, you weren't going to like hug it and touch hands,
Right.
right, at the base. But it was so rotted out that the thing was only like this. It was only like 6 to 10 inches thick on any given spot around the edge. So there wasn't really a lot to that tree.
I don't know why I
I
can't.
know that I've seen the video. I've seen that video recently, like within the last few years.
Yeah.
Something has kicked it up for me.
I know I have it. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. Categories, videos. All right, I might be getting closer.
Well, I need to get
No.
some wood because it's 39 degrees outside right now.
Yeah.
And that's good fire burning weather.
Yeah, this is true.
Dan, do you heat your house you live in with wood?
No, I don't heat the house I live in with wood at all. When we moved here, we had 20 acres, but we have almost no trees. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to go somewhere else to get wood for get trees. So I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I don't know if I want to put the extra money into it. Because, like, it's going to cost you, all said and done, $8,000 to $10,000 to put a stove in. Okay? That's a whole furnace.
Yeah.
So how much money do I have to save over the course of how many years in order to make that stove pay off? Like a lot,
Yeah, but
especially when I'm only burning $1,500 worth of gas a year.
right. Don't you enjoy sitting by a fire?
I do it outside though. Yeah, I sit by a fire outside whenever I feel like it.
Where do you get the wood for that?
Well, now I have 80 acres and half of it's woods. And half of the trees in there have fallen down because they're dead or need to be cut down because they're too crowded. So it's a totally different, it's a totally different scenario. Now I could just go out. Every time I go out there now, I could load my truck up with wood if I wanted to. You know,
Yeah.
cut up a few more trees and stumps and limbs and fill my truck bed. I could have so much wood. In fact,
Why
it
don't
would
you
make
do
sense
that
to
and then
like
bring it over here?
like I said, somebody has to pay for wood one way or the other. It's either in pain in your back or it's cash. And you are welcome to go out there and honestly cut wood to your heart's content.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll probably just go to Lou's.
Like, so when when we have guests out there, I don't even carry very much firewood to them. I've got a big old firewood pile about 150 feet away from the fire pit. And I just figure, hey, if you want to carry the firewood over there, you can burn it. But I'm not going to bring, you know, I used to stack up a nice big stack of firewood. And you know what they would do? They'd burn it all. When they have to walk
Oh.
150 feet to get firewood, they
Right.
burn less wood.
Yeah.
Does that make me a bad person?
Nope.
I don't know. I don't think it
No.
does.
I think you should have
I'm still providing it.
I think you should have a whole bunch of stacked firewood for them, but then charge them for however much is gone when they after their stay.
I have suggested to my sons that they get a firewood rack and that I provide them with like one fire worth of wood. And then we take all the rest of the wood away and we have like a drop box, like $5 a bundle for
Yeah, man.
more wood.
I think you
And
should.
just get them a plaque made up that's like AJ's, Asa Judah's Firewood Company. And then like, just be like, hey, buy more firewood if you want more firewood.
Yep.
It just hasn't happened. Should have happened. You find that video, Darcy?
No. I made it all way back to the end of my videos too, and
So do you not even have a fireplace in
am.
this house?
looking in the wrong spot.
I don't even have a fireplace in the house that I live in right now. No.
Dang,
I'm gonna have a
son.
little fake. I have a fake one.
Oh, like a little gas or whatever, propane?
Mm-hmm. I just don't. I don't have. So when we build again,
You have a gas?
we probably will.
You have a gas log fireplace in that house?
Oh no, I have a gas log fireplace at the cabin. It's
Yeah.
it's a propane one. I don't have a gas log in my house that I'm at. And then the ones out there are wood at the other property. We have like a legitimately fake fireplace here. Like it's like one of those electric ones. You can pick it up and move it to a different
Right.
room.
Oh, you mean a little electric heater?
Just an electric heater that has a little
It
screen.
looks like a fireplace.
Like, it's shaped like a fireplace.
Shaped like a
Let's
fireplace.
put it that way. It's shaped like a fireplace. Yeah. I have a fireplace. I have an old school fireplace. They call it a piler. Piler. A parlor heater sitting on my back porch, but I don't have it hooked up to anything.
Hmm.
And I kind of been thinking about taking it up to the cabin and letting people burn in it just for kicks.
Where would you put it?
Well, would you look at that?
I'd put it
Would you look at what?
like probably on the porch. Oh, did you hear that? It's just a
Oh, yeah.
video that opened up because I was looking for that tree. Would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
Yeah, you can't. I'm trying to think of how I could find that video. If I don't know what, oh yeah, now I'm sideways.
Yeah, you are. How'd you do that?
Yeah, there you are.
I scrolled away from, or I went away from the app, and so that I could look for this photo or video.
So talking about heating your house with wood and all that, and we were talking about the temperature in the house. What do you keep your heat set on in the wintertime?
Our house?
Yeah, like in your house.
67 probably. That's us. I mean,
Yeah,
That's
I
probably
could
around
handle
where
it a
we're
little
at.
bit warmer, but it's fine.
yeah. I think we're about 68 usually.
Yeah.
We have
Would
go ahead. Sorry.
Darcy, you have that air conditioner in your bedroom. Do you keep the rest of the house at 67, 68, but then have the bedroom at like 62?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Do you run the air conditioner in the winter also, or just open a window?
No, I usually pull it out in the wintertime, but Anna likes it for the noise. Like she
Oh yeah,
sleeps in here in the daytime, and she likes
makes
to
a nice
run the
hum.
thing. Yeah, her
Yeah,
mind is just used to the noise.
that makes sense. I can understand that.
This uh got the yawns. This air conditioner that we've got in here currently, it actually it has heat also.
Oh yeah,
Like it'll blow heat into this room if you want it
you
to.
can you can just leave it in there then and turn it to heat in the
Could.
winter.
Yep. If you wanted a warm bedroom,
Yep.
which I generally do not. I'm generally more of a cool bedroom kind of a guy.
Yeah, I used to be. Don't really do that much anymore. I can't afford to
You
keep the
guys
whole
keep
house
going.
at
I'm gonna
62 degrees.
write my little report.
No, you gotta throw a window unit in there.
Dude, this new house, the master or primary bedroom,
Oh,
you can't
you
open the
can
windows.
say master.
Can't open the
You
windows.
can't open the window. Not at
No,
all?
just all glass.
Weird.
I know.
Well, you could go old school and just cut you a hole in the wall. Just
I know.
frame a little window air conditioner hole.
Get one of the mini splits in there.
Yeah, you could do that. Start watching on the old Facebook Marketplace for one of those.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be handy to just have a mini split in there to keep it whatever temp I wanted.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just an all glass window in there.
Man.
So the old house
Well,
had those casement windows, which
yeah,
AC units don't go very well in those.
right.
And then over here, just nothing, just glass.
Hmm. Well, I figure that out.
Yep. It is the coldest room in the house, though. The air conditioner sits directly below that room, and for whatever reason, it is. If the thermostat is set on, we had it set on like 72, and it was 60, like 6 to 68 degrees in that bedroom with the thermostat on 72.
Nice. I think Dan just switched
It
to
looks
his
different.
computer or something.
What just happened?
Your camera just
That was weird.
blinked out and switched to your computer.
You're on a normal camera now.
That's ugly. That's gross.
So much more clear though.
Yeah,
What?
it is.
For real?
Oh, it's so
Oh
much
yeah,
better.
and we can hear you.
You are lying to me.
No, I'm not joking at all.
Oh, now you're gone again.
Now he's gone.
You can turn off the camera while recording, but you can't switch cameras. What do you mean I can't switch cameras? You just switched cameras.
Yeah, you gotta stay with this camera. It's way better.
Are you serious?
Dude, it's so much better.
Are you?
So
Are you
it's
guys-
your camera that's causing the all the glitchiness?
Dude, it's so grainy. I'm looking at my own self in this
Oh, now
one,
it's
Yeah.
and
grainy.
it's so grainy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now it's not though.
I can't even see myself clearly in it.
We don't
And
care
this
about
thing's
what you
telling
can
me
see.
I can't.
Dan?
This thing's telling me you can't switch cameras mid record, which makes no sense because it just did. But whatever. All right. Well, I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, dude, we can see you moving around and everything. Your mouth is moving. It's so weird.
Huh.
So there's got to be some
Yeah.
kind of weird lag with that other camera.
Something.
Huh.
Because now all of a sudden you're we can hear all the words that you're saying. And
And see
This whole
all
time
of
I've
you.
talked, you can't hear what I'm saying. Oh my god.
we
No.
can hear 1 to
Like
2/3 of your
75%.
words. We have to guess a lot.
That is so true. But it's like that. It's like that anytime with Dan, though. Even that,
you just have
even
to
that,
guess.
even that 4-hour car ride the other day, you're still only hearing about 70%.
Do I just talk too quiet, or is what's the deal? I don't get it.
I don't know. It's
I'm
just something.
confused.
You think you're just used to it, Jimmy, and so you.
I think that's just how I hear Dan.
You just
Yeah.
turn out 25%.
It's just how I hear him. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So since I can't be hurt on
Yep, that's
podcast,
normal.
maybe you should tell the story about roadkill from our trip.
Oh man,
Oh man,
I'd
I
forgotten
kept
about
meaning
that.
to ask you if you checked your grill to see if there was any residue.
I did check the grill and I did not see anything. Only bugs.
Oh man, that's definitely the best thing I've ever been in a vehicle that hit. I don't know how to say that. I've been in plenty of vehicles that have hit plenty of roadkill, and that's probably the best.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Hey, so this is just going to be one more thing. Another time I'm going to say this, and I know that you agree. Man, should have had a dash cam.
Yeah, dude, that would have been viral for sure.
Especially, I mean, the video, our reaction, it was pretty great.
It was so good. And now it's just in our memories.
Yeah. Oh man.
Poor little guy crossing the road, dead.
You
Dan,
haven't
did
even
you?
said what it was yet, have you?
No. It was probably a gal. Or a gal
Probably.
crossing the road.
Poor little gal.
It was a gal, for sure.
Yeah. Who's gonna
Did
tell
I
the
work?
story?
Well, I can't. Nobody can hear me, so you need to tell the story.
No,
We can hear
you're
you
loud and
now.
clear now. That was old Dan.
So
This is
dumb.
new Dan. I think we need to hear a story from Dan while we can still hear him
Till before my camera comes back on.
before your other
Yeah.
camera
So
comes back on.
so okay. So the first part of this story isn't going to be about the story, or should I just tell the chicken story and then go into the other part of the story that I'm thinking about?
Yeah.
I'll do the chicken story. So we're driving down the highway at what, 11:30, 12 o'clock at night on the interstate in the middle of freaking nowhere. I feel like we just passed another vehicle and we're in the
There was
left
a
lane.
semi in front of us. There was a semi
like
in front of us. We were in the left lane.
We're in the left
Yeah.
lane.
Yep.
And a freaking chicken walks across the semi's lane and ends up in our lane. I mean, wham, dead center. We
Dead
just
center.
teed that sucker up. The bizarre thing about it is, if you've ever owned chickens, you know they don't do crap after dark. They will, like, if it gets dark and they don't know where to go, they usually just will hunker down and wait to get eaten by a fox. Like,
Mhm.
they won't fight for their own life. They won't run away from anything. They just sit there. And yet, it's midnight in the middle of nowhere, and there's a chicken walking across the road, which has to, I mean, and it was like pretty fast, but we all saw that it was a chicken.
Yeah.
Like, it was not more than a half a second that we saw it before it met its end under Jimmy's car.
And it was
But
casually
it was
walking across the interstate.
100%. It was just like, bulk, done.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's still bizarre in my mind.
Yeah,
Like,
and it
my
wasn't
mind
like
still is like,
it wasn't a country road. It wasn't like a frontage road.
it was
It was the
I-70.
interstate. Yeah. Oh man.
I did,
Yeah,
as we
it's so
drove,
good.
I did pin, hey, I actually pinned the closest farm to the location. And I'll pull it up here
Did you use your
if I can find it.
realtor sleuthing skills and find out who that is and contact them?
I haven't.
Let them know what happened to their chicken.
I haven't done that,
Hmm.
but I might. I might be like, hey,
Might you?
I know a guy who murdered your chicken. You could say he choked your chicken.
Yeah, I killed it.
Right. So, did you know that highway is also 40 highway?
Is it? That's what it's
And
labeled?
it's Dwight. It's labeled 40 highway, and it's also labeled Dwight D. Eisenhower.
I knew it was Dwight D. Eisenhower, but I didn't know 40 went that far.
Okay. So I don't have the ability to measure the distance, but see, you can't see that.
Why don't you have the ability to measure distance?
Well, I don't know if I know how.
You just
on
hold
maps.
hold it on whatever location, like pin it basically, and then scroll up from the bottom, and then there's a measured distance.
Oh shoot, that was wrong. Measure distance. Okay. The nearest chicken coop The nearest chicken coop is 0.1 mile from the interstate.
That's got to be it.
You see that? So
Yeah.
there's no frontage road between that chicken coop and the interstate.
Nope.
I don't know if you guys can see it, because to me
I
that looks
see
really
it.
grainy.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it well enough.
Crazy.
That's funny. Well, apparently, all their chickens don't get back in the coop at night.
No.
Apparently not.
And like we
Apparently
said,
not.
that was like
normal chickens either.
that was like midnight or so. So that means that chicken be wandering around in the dark for hours at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, and literally, like, I'm telling you, dude, I've gone out and looked for my chickens because they weren't in the coop, and they're just freaking sitting still. You just walk right up to them and pick them up. They do not move after dark.
I've
That
watched
chicken was
my
on meth or
chickens.
something.
I've watched my chickens get eaten by foxes in the middle of the night, just sitting on the ground.
Wow.
It's crazy.
It was a
So
brave
crazy.
chicken.
Yeah,
Well,
that chicken was going places.
Heading south.
as a chicken, you see what bravery gets you.
Yeah.
And it also calls into question all of the stupid questions. Why did the chicken cross the road? You're like, oh, chickens, they don't cross the road that often. Apparently, it's a valid question.
That is on that one.
Apparently, it's not a joke.
Maybe that joke actually came from chicken school, and it's like that's a question on the test. Why did the chicken
And
cross the
most
road? And
chickens,
the little chickens are supposed to say, that's a
no,
trick question. Chickens don't cross the road. And that
right.
one
And
decided to.
Chicken school.
right, it's probably like
Yeah.
if that chicken was homeschooled or something, which most chickens are these days.
I think so. Yeah.
Like at least half
That
of
was
them
a homeschool
are
chicken
homeschooled.
thinking outside the box.
Apparently.
Oh man.
Well,
So chicken. Yeah.
did you
What?
did you just
May he rest in
sound-
peace.
That'll help him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So what story were you going to go into from that story, Dan?
Well, the thing is, I was gonna say, why were we driving? Like, so that this makes more sense. Why were we driving down the interstate at midnight? We're driving down the interstate at midnight because we went to a. Well, what would you say Stephen Wilson Jr. is exactly? It's not folk music. It's not rockabilly. It's kind of his own thing a little bit. What do you think categorically it would be? Like,
It's got to
I
fall under a
think that
country
it
category.
is country, but like I kind of think
country?
it's fun how on his Instagram it says, I mean, and this is just kind of fun, I think, Death Cab for Country says that on his. So
Okay.
it's like a full-on, very rock-inspired country music, I think.
Yeah. And he's got a like okay. I'm Brian Easterly, who I used to work with, would be offended by this if he heard him, because I think he might like his music, but he hated Bruce Springsteen. But he has some like tones of Bruce Springsteen in the stuff that he writes. Would you agree with that? Although you wouldn't say that it
I don't.
sounds like it it doesn't sound like Bruce Springsteen, but there's some intonations of that type of rock music in his vocals.
Okay.
Would you say that's legitimate, or is it just? I don't know.
I don't
I don't
guess
know.
I
I don't
know
listen to
Springsteen
Springsteen
well
enough.
enough.
I don't like Springsteen, so so it's hard to even get myself to say that. But, so I probably the one band that if they're in Kansas City, I go to see is Need to Breathe. If they're playing locally, I'll go see them. I don't have like even a handful of bands that I'm like, oh yeah, every time they come, I'll go to see him again for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that was a fun concert, even though it was just him and his guys.
I've listened to his music a little prior to going to the concert, but after being at the show makes me want to listen to it a lot more.
Yeah.
I think the show
Isn't that
was
weird?
better. It was better than the recorded music.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Usually it's the other way around.
and
Like you hear the recorded music and then you go to the show and you're like, that was okay. It was good. But this is the other way around, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, was the sound quality better than the recording? No, but the
It's just
the
the
effort put into it is
Yeah.
just like, it's like this. The recording is like the subdued version of
Yeah.
the concert,
Yeah.
Yes.
So
just
good.
for the sake probably of like having a better quality of recording than just like
Yeah, I
a
mean,
live
you can't get
live
that.
recording.
You can't get the real feel of that thunder stomp box thing that he's got on the
Well, even the
recording.
fact that he does it live. Yeah.
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 Like, what the heck? Like, that's something that whenever he said, I'm going to do this acoustic version of these things, and he plays it, and you're like, freaking what? What's with
Yeah.
all the pedals and sound effects you're throwing into this, like in your acoustic set for a couple
Right.
times? You could hardly tell that the band wasn't there.
Yeah, you didn't miss them, that's for sure.
You didn't miss them.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed every second of that show. I haven't been to a concert in a long time where I was like every second of the show was good. But
Yeah.
he
And it was
somehow did
just
it.
long enough. Despite the fact that he didn't play two songs that out of the like 21 on the album, because there's a lot of songs on that album. The two songs that I was like, oh, he's got to play those. Like I would have thought. He didn't even play two of them that I thought
Right.
would be like concert staples.
He just leaves you wanting more, Dan.
I guess. But here's another interesting thing that I didn't even know the other day when we were there. Okay, so after the concert, I talked to him. I briefly told him about my writing and that like part of the reason that I wrote my one song that I've written in this year is because I listened to his music and I was like, dude, I can write a song about my dad. Like that would be, I could do that. And so I wrote a song about my dad, right? And it was not in his style of music. I can't do whatever he does. I'm not him. But it was in the like kind of storytelling sort of style versus like the more cryptic style that I typically would write in. But here's something interesting. So his dad died September 15th, 2019. My dad died September 15th, 2021.
Really
2 years different.
2 years different. Yeah. Not weird?
weird. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know that there's necessarily something unique about September 15th, but I do find it funny that, like, I find it interesting that it's like I regardless had like a pretty deep connection to how he feels about his dad. Our dads
Yeah.
are totally different based on the storytelling, like nothing alike. But very similar like sentiments about his father. And
Yep.
and then his dad died. He wasn't there either. He was on the side of the road. I think did he say that at the concert or in something I watched? He was sitting on the side of the road on the phone
He's
with him when he died.
yeah. He says.
Yeah, he said
He
something like that.
says. I spoke my last words to my dad on the iPhone 8 on the side of the road in Kentucky.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting too, because it's like,
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Don't know that it means anything, but it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, if you didn't want to write a song about your dad, you could just write one about Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, just write a
I
song
can't
about Gary.
wait till that song is available. I want to listen to it again.
I was cracking up at that song.
It's a great song.
That's funny. Oh, and then the other thing that I think is funny, which Jimmy, I don't know if you know this, but one of his songs, so I think he played the song about his dad, where in the studio recording, he plays a clip of like 30 seconds of a recording of his dad talking.
Yeah.
And his dad says in that clip the phrase, "Yeah, well, that's nothing. That's nothing. Man,
Yep.
we'd go squirrel hunting and we'd have to drive our bikes 5 miles, 2.5 miles each way. Ain't nobody gonna go take us there or pick us up. That was nothing."
No cell phone.
And no cell phone, no pager. And Darcy's dad is a big time that's nothing guy. Like Darcy's dad,
That's nothing.
if it isn't that's nothing, it's what's the other one that your dad says all the time?
I got a good one for you.
Got a good one for you. Yeah. And the thing is, like, you could be talking about like a corn on your toe, and that is nothing to Darcy's dad. He's got a whole field of corn out back. You could
Let's
be talking
get
about
Darcy's
changing
dad on here.
You could be talking
He's
about
in
changing the oil on your Honda Civic, and that's nothing. That Ford, what is it, Astro? Is that what it? No, Ford.
Aerostar.
That Ford Aerostar takes twice as much oil, and you could be like, I read a book. Oh, that's nothing. I read 2 books. Like, it does not matter what the flip you're talking about. It's nothing, and it's like, dude, if it wasn't so funny, it would be offensive.
Right?
But you don't get, like, you're not aware enough of the conversation you're having to realize that nobody else is like doing gamesmanship right now except you. Am I misinterpreting your dad? I don't want to talk about your dad in a way that you don't find humorous, Darcy. But I don't want to misrepresent him either.
Oh man.
And And if Darcy's dad hasn't done something that makes whatever you did seem like nothing, he knows a guy who did something that makes what you did seem like nothing.
I got it. I got a good one for you.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh, Daddy.
I've heard some stories from Darcy's dad.
Yeah. He's got one or two.
I've heard stories about me from Darcy's dad that I couldn't believe. I mean,
Like, no way I did that. You're kidding me.
no freaking way I did that. I tell you
Oh,
what,
man.
I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story about me that Darcy's dad tells, okay?
I'll tell you the story.
So we're
I
on
know
a,
what it is.
oh, you know the story. You tell the story. Yeah, you tell the story. That, and then I'll tell you that's nothing. Okay, let's hear the story. Let's see if it's the same one.
So my dad took Dan on a backpack trip back in the day. My dad,
No, he was on a backtrack trip with Dan.
my dad was leading a backpack trip back in the day, and he took Dan with him. And they were, well, for one thing, the only thing that Dan brought on this backpack trip was Starburst and Mountain Dew. And that guy drank Mountain Dew 100% of the time that he was hiking, and except when he stopped to eat some Starburst. Like, he would just wash down his Starburst with Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
That's the
And
story.
so Dan was generally like out in front of the group because he just had so much energy because of all that sugar and caffeine. But they're just cruising along the trail, and I think they came across a tree that was down, and you had to kind of duck under it to get through there, and everybody was ducking down underneath there to get through, and Dan went through there, and there was a rattlesnake right there, and Dan essentially levitated. He like jumped about 15 feet in the air, and then mid
He's
jump
like,
also moved down the trail
yeah,
a ways.
it was like 9 feet up and 15 feet over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my dad pulled out his recorder and charmed the snake so that everyone else could safely cross.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, but that's not the end of the story.
Oh.
What's the rest?
Okay.
The rest of the story is that right after that, but that you didn't tell it nearly big enough. Like, it was so exciting to see Dan jump. Like,
well,
it was
probably
insane.
The thing about it is that Dan is kind of one of those he's kind of one of those cool guys, and all of a sudden he's kind of, a little sissy dude when it comes to lethal snake in the trail.
Yeah.
And that was funny.
And then after that, because of the adrenaline rush and running out of Starburst, I had no energy, and I was at the back of the pack.
Oh yeah.
The rest of the time, I could hardly even keep up after that because I was just dragging so hard the rest of the time that he had to
almost
give
like
me,
that snake bit you.
Yeah, he had to give me one of his cowtails
Oh,
to
there you
just
go.
keep me going.
Is where you started your affinity for cowtails? I did not know
Yeah,
that is
that is
why you love
where
cowtails so much.
that is where I
Man.
got my affinity for cowtails. Yeah, and it's like all of
I
these
knew you liked those
things are
cowtails a
so
lot.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go get my Cowtails cup that they gave me this year because I'm their favorite customer. Have I ever showed you that?
I
Go get
saw
it
it.
and fill up my water. It's a real thing.
Darcy, why weren't you on this hiking trip that Dan and your dad were on?
Let me think here. I didn't ever do the backpack trip. I did the canoe trips.
Ah,
So if it were a summer that we were both at camp at the same time,
both you and Dan?
I would have, yeah, I would have been on the canoe trip.
Okay.
So either that or it was the first summer when I was in college, and I didn't come home for that summer. I mean, I didn't do camp stuff. I worked. I'm trying to think. I think my first yeah, I think between my freshman and sophomore year, I worked landscaping. Then, then I went, it would have been that. I would have been working that summer and not doing any camp stuff. It was either that or I was on a different week, on a different trip. Dan and I did not
think you
know
were
each
on.
other back then.
Oh,
Do you know when that would have been, Dan? Like, how old were you?
I was like either 17 or 18.
You were what?
17 or 18, probably.
So that was, that probably was the summer that I was working for Dave Schaub.
So you
what
were
are you
not.
eating, Dan?
You were not on. Dried tart
Starburst?
cherries.
Oh,
Starburst, dried tart cherries. Yeah. You were not on the orientation, and we did both orientations the same week or the same day. Canoe and backpack were orientated at the same time.
For the canoe camp and the backpack,
Yeah.
and I wasn't there.
Because
Right?
I also think that I went. No, you weren't there. You were not there any of the years that I did it, and I think there were 3. Oof. 1 year was a backpack only. No, I did 2 backpack onlys and 1 mixed backpack and canoe.
Yeah. That would have been when I was in college.
Yeah. So
Dan, I want to hear your version of that hiking story.
when we is that backwards to you guys?
No.
Nope. Perfect.
When we go to Wyoming, they still have 3 cowtails for $1 at the friendly store up in the mountains. And once a year, literally once a year, I buy 3 cowtails and munch around on them. I've never bought a cowtail anywhere else or any other time that I can think of besides there. And the only other cowtails that I've ever eaten were Stu Frederick's cowtails from that backpack trip. And 100% full disclosure, they're not very good.
I don't like them at all.
They ain't nothing special about them. but I'd get
No.
them just, you know,
Right.
like I get them for shits and grins. That's why I
Sure.
get them, because I chuckle every time I eat one about the things that supposedly happened to me. Okay, so the real story is I would spend as much time as possible in the front because my pace is much faster than almost anybody else's on a backpack trip. On with those bunch of people who haven't backpacked and who, because it wasn't like these backpack trips were made up of like people who did it all the time or even worked physical jobs for a living. So my pace is typically faster, and I find myself like accidentally or incidentally running into the person in front of me just as a matter of course. And so I did run into the rattlesnake first, and of course it startled me because it's a freaking rattlesnake in the trail. Did I levitate? I kind of doubt it. Did I jump back from a rattlesnake that's coiled up rattling? For sure.
Did you squeal like a baby? I don't know.
Could be. Maybe. I mean, I probably was like, ah! I mean, like, I probably yelled or something. Did I eat Starbursts the entire time? Maybe. I don't know. I brought a whole bag. I brought a whole bag for the week. And I think I literally brought like 2 Mountain Dew bottles because I knew that as soon as they were warm, they wouldn't be like any good. I think I did bring a bottle of Mountain Dew, which almost everybody just brought the waters that they, almost everybody just brought water bottles. I did bring a Mountain Dew on that trip. But that doesn't make for a good story just to be like, I was just an average guy on a typical backpack trip and I saw a rattlesnake. Stu definitely makes it a better story, for sure.
Next time I see Stu, I'm going to ask him about that.
It's
Yep.
honestly, it's one of my favorite stories about me. The way he tells it.
He tells it.
Oh man, when I first
Because
started
the way I
going
tell it is
into
like, go ahead.
when I first started going into the prison, like those guys have known my dad for 10 or 15 years.
So they all know me by name?
So that they may know you, I don't know, but they definitely know me. Oh, we've heard stories about you.
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
oh, great.
You're like,
Do they
trust
tell
me,
you
guys,
stories about
I'm
you?
not as
They'll ask me things about stories about me every now and again. And then I have to try to think of what that might be.
what this story is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy, does your dad tell stories about you?
If he does, I don't know about him.
My dad probably does.
Your dad might.
Yep. I'll have to try to figure out some Jimmy stories from him.
Yeah, one of the differences between your dad and my dad is my dad doesn't have friends and doesn't talk to people.
So he doesn't have anybody to tell stories to.
No.
Huh.
Yeah, as much as your dad is outgoing, my dad is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah. That was something that my dad and Dan's dad had in common, was they were good at making friends and talking to people.
Yep.
Yeah. Fast friends. Now, a goodie on my dad, that a good story about my dad that is this really loud, me chewing while I'm talking?
No,
Mm,
I
no.
can hear it, but it's not really loud.
A really good one on my dad.
You got a
Yeah.
good one for us?
I think you were there for it, but I'm just trying to remember if we've already told it on here. So
Okay.
when okay, so let me make sure that I get this story right. When our
Okay.
brother-in-law was getting married, we,
Oh,
meaning
man, that
me
was a
and
good one.
Darcy and our wives, lived near this store called Kleinschmidt's. Kleinschmidt's is where cowboys order their high-dollar boots from. So we were assigned the task of picking up a pair of wedding boots that were like $500 or $600 boots at the time, which would probably be like $800 or $900 boots now, $1,000 boots
Maybe.
for
Yeah, I mean, that was
Wes.
20
And
years ago.
so we were gonna pick up these boots at Kleinschmidt's and take them to Wes for his wedding. It was pretty important. And somehow my dad got into the mix of these wedding boots. And he took a pair of Timberland work boots that were new. And he put them in the box of Wes's
Fancy
oh wow,
cowboy
that hurt.
boots.
Super fancy cowboy boots. And we wrapped them back up and we took them down there. And Wes opened his wedding boots the night before or the day of his wedding to see same size Timberland work boots. And my dad did not know Wes at all. He was not beyond playing a practical joke on somebody he did not know.
Nice.
And Wes didn't, like, he freaked out. Is that an exaggeration? Like,
I wasn't
I
there
think
when he opened them up.
I think he broke into a sweat, like instantaneously. Like his heart, like he had so much riding on these boots, and he like it was like he had seen a ghost. He was like, oh, oh, they got the, oh. And then like he went to like mad almost immediately after this. Like he went from like
Well-
shock to anger immediately.
Because didn't also, your dad was there when he opened them, right?
I think so.
And it seems to me that I remember that your dad had essentially implied, at least, that he had checked them and they seemed like nice boots. And so, and so now Wes they're not nice boots. I mean, they are nice boots. They're brand new. But according to Wes, what kind of person is going to open a box and think that Timberland work
That
boots
that's the
are
right
going to be the boot for a wedding? But your dad was totally was all in to let
My
Wes
dad
think
was-
that he was an imbecile who who would just not think anything of it, that there was Timberland boots that he was picking up for the wedding.
Oh, that's funny.
And my dad was like, whenever he had a good poker face, and you had to know his face. Like, he had a good poker face if you didn't know him,
Right.
Mhm.
but if you knew him, you could tell when he was doing poker face. And you could tell when he was like, when what he was saying was supposed to be giving you clues about the reality of the situation. Like, if you knew him and he said that they were nice boots and then those were the boots, you'd have to be like, I don't know. Rob said, what are you doing, Rob? Like, if you knew him, but if you didn't know him and Wes didn't know him at all,
Never met
and
him.
Wes was so mad. Right, he had never even met him. Wes was so mad. And then, like, of course, Wes's family are also a bunch of practical jokers. And he
So
got
Wes's
over it
brothers,
pretty quick after.
Wes's brothers would have thought it was the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But the thing is, the beautiful thing about it was coming from so out of left field when he didn't know my dad at all. And so
Mhm.
it was just like beyond. You know what? I think maybe my dad was asked to go get them and not us. I think he might have actually brought them all the way down and everything and delivered them.
I think so. I think that you being the connection to Higginsville, because your dad lived there,
Mm-hmm.
kind of facilitated it. But I mean, yeah, if he can just get them and bring them, perfect.
It's such
And
a
he
good
did.
That's
joke.
a good story.
I mean,
It was a great joke.
and of course, my mother probably like slapped him after this, after she saw how
Did
Wes
anyone
reacted
else
to it.
know that your dad was doing this?
I don't remember if we did. I think he just did it. I think he just like,
That's so
I mean,
good.
if I was standing there, I remember seeing how mad Wes was in my mind, but like, I'm sure as soon as it was happening, I was like, something's up with this.
Mhm.
This is not serious. Like, this is not for real, Rob face.
This isn't serious, Rob.
This
Does-
isn't
does
actual
Wes-
serious Rob.
Does Wes ever talk about it like now, or is it just?
I think he still gets a little bit mad when it gets brought up.
But he does. He can laugh. He can laugh at
He
himself.
can, but I think he still gets a little pissed when it right
that's
right
funny.
away when it gets brought up.
So funny. I read
Darcy, you want to play another clip if I can send you one?
Yeah, send me it.
I'm
Do you
gonna see
play
if I can
jokes on your
find the
family,
clip.
man?
You know, I'm not as fun as my dad was. I'm a little
No.
bit more serious person.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like, I do it to my kids and stuff. Like, I don't go out of my way to cause other people to have diarrhea in their pants.
On their wedding
Are you
day.
emailing me that? Are you emailing me whatever clip you want me to play?
I'm trying to find it. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, I gotta see if I can find. Maybe I sent it in a text.
Dan, did you get your report written?
I already did it. Yeah,
Okay.
I sent it. Oh wow,
Yep,
is that
nice
loud?
miss. Better what?
Now you can. Let's see. Share. Copy link. Darcy will know exactly what I'm talking about with West when he sees this clip.
Okay.
Because, all right,
Oh, you just
Jimmy, you gotta
texted it
watch
to me.
this too.
Okay, I'm coming.
Can you?
I text it. Will that work? Do I need to email it?
No, I need you to email it.
Okay, I'll email it. See, I sent it as a response to your message. Hopefully that'll go through.
Hmm,
There you go.
here it is.
Pull it up.
Man. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's a short?
Mhm.
Okay, let me pause it. All right. Share screen. Here we go.
Yep, that was a mess. Hey, what? Daddy, let me show you how to shoot that thing. I've been shooting pistols since 4 years. I thought, Daddy, just let me
That's
show
so
you.
fast.
I'll show you how to shoot. Hey, do you want me to go get my notebook real quick? We'll tell you what's first. Shut up, or I come over and give you some Bluntforce trimmer. You just say trimmer. All right, you start off, you got to get you a good squash. Okay, got to get you a good base. Oh, this is painful. Once you get your base, you pull that hand back right there, put it on your chest. It stabilizes your upper body from the recoil. Huh? What are you aiming at? Oh, shoot that red slide. That's a pretty easy target. I'll shoot the coffee can then. Yeah, that's better. Here we go. Oh, crap. Where's my phone? You show me how to do it then. You ready? All right, here we go. Here we go. Where's your hole at? What, you disrespect? That's a mess. What? Hey, let me show you how to shoot that thing.
Oh, man.
You know why I sent that to Wes?
You sent that to Wes?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the old Annie Oakley pose there.
His old Wes's dad Les. We went out shooting pistols with him one time, and he's got a cigarette. He's got a cigarette in his mouth, and his pose is he gets a stump, and then he puts his hand on his hip with his cigarette.
Yeah.
So stupid. I'm just like, what is he doing? And Wes just starts laying into him just like that. Just like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Dad? Shoot! I'll show you how to shoot a gun.
Oh, man. We called him Annie Oakley all afternoon.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, I don't remember if he could hit anything shooting that way.
I don't know.
Maybe he did.
I think we were trying to shoot
Well-
some tannerite around then.
We're an hour and 40 minutes into our podcast. I wonder if anybody's watched.
I don't know. We have 0 concurrent viewers.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
What are we even doing this for, man?
Practice. The thing is I don't know if we're getting any better.
Dan's camera's getting better.
We might be practicing the wrong thing, possibly.
Yeah. All right. Maybe next week we have an outline.
Mm.
Can we take a vote? Would you like to have Luke back next week?
Sure.
Because he'd like to talk about something serious next week.
Oh, what's he want to talk about? Just serious stuff?
Recovery, like recovery, addiction recovery.
He seems like a pretty serious dude to me.
He's pretty serious. I do have to tell him sometimes, like, dude, I haven't seen as many movie references. I haven't seen as many movies as you have. A lot of your movie references go completely over my head because I don't watch that many movies.
Because I got to be honest with you, Luke. I don't really care. He does.
Probably also don't watch the same kinds of movies too.
Yeah, he does have a lot of movie references. Pretty
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
And
And he'll always be like,
I
"What? You've
have
never seen that one?"
maybe he's seen Fight Club too.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do some more research on that. I don't think that's a thing,
Okay,
but could be. Who knows?
who knows?
Not me.
Somebody probably does.
All right, it's after midnight, boys.
Yes, it is. Time to call it.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Till next week.
I guess that's that. Yep.
Okay.
That's one more Not Your Average Guys podcast over.
In the books.
In the books. Later.
Peace.